when I'm not being shadow banned by fellow Jeep Wrangler drivers because I didn't get any waves when I was driving my Jeep Wrangler back on the East Coast because it seems like they knew that I've been leasing a Mazda for the West Coast. I'm very upset about that. I like to answer questions and comments to get on my YouTube, so let's get to it. The circle of fifths thing literally just knocked me over. How has nobody noticed or mentioned that? Yes, right? So on my video last week, I talked a little bit about taking a Jacob Collier class where he mentioned a very interesting thing about the circle of fifths. And even I, who feel like I'm extremely well versed in the benefits of the circle of fifths, didn't even understand or know about. So I want to share that with you and talk about some other reasons why the circle of fifths is really just so important, okay? So what that means is you have to know what a fifth is. If you've ever played a power chord, you are already familiar with the concept of a root note and a fifth. So here, the people's key, the power chord du jour is 3rd fret on the E string, 5th fret on the A string, a G, and a D. So the reason this is called a fifth, because if you go through the major scale, G, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 1 and a 5 together is the most cohesive unit that you can have in music. A 1 and a 5, they come together just like me and what I thought was my Jeep Wrangler. You know, this has nothing to do with me and my Jeep. It's the other Jeep owners who are to blame here because they just don't get it. But 1 and a 5, right? Now, the really interesting thing that goes beyond this is the circle of fifths. There's 12 notes in all of music. I'm going to link you to a video on a more robust explanation of the circle of fifths that I did that has a bunch of different reasons why you might want to know this, but just the gist of it is there's 12 notes in music, and if we travel through fifths, we end up doing all 12, right? So here's 1, a fifth of G is D. A fifth of D, you can either go power chord wise or go below it to get its fifth, which right here is an A, right? So a fifth of A is an E, a fifth of E is a B, B, F sharp, so on and so forth. And eventually you take all of the notes in music and you start right back where you began, right? So why that's important, there's a bunch of different reasons why. It's a great way to memorize chord progressions because a fifth of one note is going to be the key that is most like it, right? So the key of G and the key of D are very similar keys, they just have one note different. There's just one extra sharp as you go along. Now, the thing that blew my mind in the Jacob Collier video was that the pentatonic scale is made up of fifths, which is super interesting. If you don't know who Jacob Collier is, he's an amazing musician who's kind of like an alien, actually. It doesn't really even make sense how good he is. So check his music out. In fact, speaking of checking music out, this video is sponsored by DistroKid, another amazing service, even as great as the Circle of Fifths, because that's exactly how you get all your music online, right? It's actually funny, I just looked into my bank, because when you sign up for DistroKid, you can you just pay a super reasonable price and then you can upload unlimited amounts of music. And I looked at my bank because what happens is if you do streaming or if you do affiliates and stuff like that, you can just accumulate money and they keep it in the bank until you take it out, right? And I've never actually taken mine out. So I looked in there, I'm like, wow, I've got a lot more money than I thought I did. So thank God for DistroKid because again, they make it super simple. I think it's the most reasonably priced service on the face of this planet. You just sign up, upload unlimited amounts of music, it puts it up on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, basically everywhere you'd ever listen to music, handles everything for you, and it has just kind of printouts and stuff. Got an affiliate link in the description that saves you money to sign up for DistroKid, so definitely check that out, because you and I both have to get on this Jacob Collier tip of producing music as good as he is. But what he was saying in this video is the pentatonic scale, right? Let's take C major pentatonic. We have C, D, E, G, A, right? Instead of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, the pentatonic is a condensed version of that, right? What he was explaining is that if you go through the circle of fifths, it'll be the first sequence of those fifths. So for example, if I'm starting at a C, a fifth of C is a G, right? And then a fifth of G is a D, and then a fifth of D is an A, and then a fifth of A is an E. So out of order, it gives you the pentatonic scale. So those 5 notes are just really coming from the circle of fifths, which I think is I can't believe I never really understood that before. I never noticed that before, and it really makes a lot of sense because what it got me thinking was like that relationship of those 5 notes, why they always sound so good together. Just seeing it just blows my mind, right? The funny thing is, I always think of like C major pentatonic really is A minor pentatonic, right? Just because of that shape, that 5/8, 5/7, 5/7, 5/7, 5/8, 5/8. Once you start thinking about these as like, oh, these notes in order A, C, D, E, G, then it's like, oh, you see it more because like there's A and it's 5th, and C and it's 5th, and D and it's 5th, and E and it's 5th, right? Which is, below and so on and so forth. But using those together is just really like a great way to kind of really see why power chords are so relevant in every single genre of music that you'll ever come across. So I thought that was like super eye-opening, and I definitely would not have like checked it out if not for just Jacob Collier just offhandedly mentioning it. Now again, how is that going to help you out musically? It's up to you. I just think once you have more of a fundamental understanding of how intervals work together, for me personally, it just really, really opened up my eyes to key changes specifically and memorizing chord progressions, right? So that's probably why you might want to learn something like that and how it's helpful. But from a pattern recognition standpoint, there's nothing better. So definitely spend some time thinking about every time you play a note, think of where its 5th is and really try to name it. I think that's another thing that's really great if you ever play piano as like a supplement to your guitar playing, because you always get in those shapes where you have to like see the notes, and then they're easier to visualize the names when they're linear and laid out like that. So really, do yourself a favor, every time you think of a chord, try to just maybe add a little bit of information. What is its 5th when I'm playing like a C major chord? That's a C, an E, and a G. Don't even think of the 3 note. I mean, the triad is obviously very helpful, but like, be like, all right, C and it's G. It really helps with your finger picking stuff too, because it's really like a root chord, like root 5th style. The more you really know what's going on with root notes and their 5ths, the more you're really going to see that like the entire world of music opens up. So again, really cool, just like a little tidbit of music theory trivia, and hopefully that helps some pieces fall into place for you.
This guy just likes to hear himself talk. 20 minutes of him telling how he used to suck isn't making anyone a better guitar player. In fact, this is irritating to the point that if I was in the same room, I'd have a broken guitar and he'd have a concussion. Not to be confused with percussion.
a little salty rhyme joke. That is the threatening, abusive, salty blues comment of the week. That E major 7 is new to me. I tried it on Muskrat Love by America. Awesome. Thanks. Studio looks nice. Yeah, thank you. If you missed the video a couple days ago, it was really all built around this chord right here. Awesome E major 7 chord voicing. Really amazing. Let's actually put into practice what we just talked about. What would be a 5th of this, right? Where is our E? We've got open E, 7 on the A string, which is another E. We have its major 3rd, 6 on the D string, its major 7, 8 on the G string, open B, and open E, right? So here's your chord voicing for the day. E, F, G, A, B. B is the 5th. Okay, so you can always go just down a string, and you can turn this E major 7 into like a B. I'm thinking this is like a major 6 chord, right? But yeah, super fun chord voicing. And then if you want to get real saucy, you just take this and go to B. Because usually the 5 chord isn't supposed to be a major 7, so it's really a good way to mess with people. LOL, this guy has a slight bop to his mannerisms, kind of like a crackhead or someone on meth who needs to get some sleep. But not in a bad way. He's great. Sincerely, I like the dude. Love this comment. Guy's like he's on crack or meth, but not in a bad way. In the best possible way do I remind people of a meth addict. Any chance you can do a video on best acoustic guitars under or around $500? So many guitars out there, it's very difficult for an average guy to weed through all the hype and the best quality instrument. Thanks for considering. Yeah, so I have been fortunate enough to try lots and lots of guitars. $500 is like a really interesting price range because that's about the price point where you can get something really, you can get a great guitar for $500. Make no mistake, absolutely. But the nice thing about some of the, more entry-level American-made Martin and Taylors, sometimes you can get those used for around that price. But aside from just used guitars, there are so many really cool quality instruments available for actually less than that even. I think from what I've played the last several years, I'll give you two maybe options that you can consider looking at. I think actually for like $300, D'Angelico, this is also a D'Angelico, full disclosure, they sent me this and the one I'm going to mention. The D'Angelico XL Tammany it's like a mahogany top. That thing, I was really impressed by that one. That was it's only $299. Really awesome guitar. That's definitely the best price class for $299 or anywhere even around that. I would say the next step up would be one of the Martin DX series. I think what it's called the DX1E. Now that's a little bit over. I think that's like $550 last time I checked. I'll have affiliate links in the description if you guys are interested in either of these. But they make a couple of them in that line. And the stuff out of that Martin factory is like really, really good too. Again, they're not the American-made ones, but I've played a few of them that are just like really excellent for that price range specifically. And they even have like a really cool Koa one. I've never actually played the Koa one, but I've played I think it was the spruce top equivalent of that. But yeah, I think that's great. The Tammany for $300 is an absolute steal. And then yeah, that Martin for $550 is also an absolute steal. But also, there really is something just to get your hands on whatever you're thinking about playing. And there's a lot of really good used options out there too. So yeah, there's no reason that you can't have an awesome, awesome acoustic guitar for around $500. So those are just my suggestions. If you guys have anything else, please feel free to leave them in the comments if there's something that I missed or whatever, or what you guys think it is. And let's help this guy out. Let's help this guy out buy some new guitars. All right, for listening homework this week, I'm going to throw you to something that I've been enjoying both sarcastically and legitimately at the same time. It's this new brand of country. It's this guy named Hardy, right? The name of the song is called Wait in the Truck. And basically, let me give you just a synopsis of it. You kind of have to watch the music video because it's so funny, but also good, but also bad at the same time. So this guy comes across this woman who's clearly like, been through some hard times. And he doesn't ask any questions. He just goes, where is he? Never met this person. Then he goes and he murders this potentially abusive person like in their trailer. And it's like it's so ridiculous. But also kind of awesome, and the music is also kind of awesome, and the female singer is like really, really good too. So yeah, check out Hardy Wait in the Truck, because man, I've had some good laughs. In fact, this has spawned an entire new project that I'm working on. I'm going to make some outlaw country music, some real outlaw country music. So stay tuned for that. Thank you to DistroKid for sponsoring the video. Definitely sign up for that. Affiliate link in the description. And if you have any more questions or comments, leave them in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, website. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.